Hey everybody, welcome to Crack Pack Tuesday number 164 on the Mana Leek. I'm John as always, and we've got ourselves a new set. We've got Guilds of Ravnica, and we're going to crack it open and we're going to see what's in this pack, and we're going to discuss what we would take pack one, pick one, if this was a draft. Now, this of course is a sponsored Crack-a-Pack. Every patron at the $5 level and above will get a chance to get all the cards, or none of the cards, or some of the cards, or whatever cards they want or don't want out of this pack each week. And this week, this pack is for Grzegorz. So, we'll contact him and find out if he wants the rare or the foil or none of the cards or etc. If you want to get in on that, you can go to patreon.com/themanaleek and join at the $5 level or above. Up first, we've got Kozmatronic Wave. Kozmatronic Wave is a sorcery. Kozmatronic Wave deals 1 damage to each creature your opponent controls. Creatures your opponents control can't block this turn. This card's good. This card is an amazing finisher in Boros. If you are getting in a bunch of damage early, this can just easily finish the game. Even in Izzet, it can turn on your Piston Fist Cyclops. It's a solid card. It's nowhere ever near a first pick. Up next is Sworn Companions. Sworn Companions is 2 and a white for a sorcery. Create 2 1/1 white soldier creature tokens with lifelink. It's Queen's Commission, but with soldiers instead of vampires. It's fine. It's totally fine. If you want creatures for Convoke for Selesnya, here you go. If you want creatures to mentor up in Boros, here you go. There's not much else to say. It's certainly not a first pick. Up next is Wall of Mist. Wall of Mist is 1 and a blue for a creature wall with Defender, as walls have, and it's an 0/5. That's about it. There's no massive reason for you to play this card. Even Izzet would prefer a lot more than this. Even Dimir would prefer a lot more than this. There's some decks where you certainly want to go late game, and you can arguably put in a Wall of Mist, but I would prefer probably many other cards before this. Never a first pick. Up next is willjack Bodyguards. willjack Bodyguards is 2 and a red for a creature human soldier. It's a 3/3 with Mentor, but it can only attack or block not alone. It can, yeah, you know, you can read the card. Yeah, this, I have seen people say, boy, this isn't a downside at all. And then I've seen other people, an equal amount of people say, boy, it's a real downside. Yeah, there's a lot of cases where your opponent kills your 2/2s with a bunch of Deadweights or direct currents or whatever, and then this guy just does nothing. And then there's a lot of cases where you just always have something to attack in with this. So I don't know. I'm not sure where I am on willjack Bodyguard. I know I'm not at first pick on it, but I don't know if it's good or bad yet. I'm certainly going to have to play some more Boros. Up next is Barrier of Bones. Barrier of Bones is a single black mana for a creature skeleton wall with Defender. It's an 0/3, and when it ETBs, you get to surveil 1. Not a good card. I'd prefer a Wall of Mist in any deck that I wanted a wall in. Yeah, there we go. Wall of Mist. So I don't know about Barrier of Bones. The surveil's nice and fine, I guess, and it's a thing to sack for Severed Strands, but boy, I feel like you're doing it wrong if you're playing this card. Certainly not a first pick. Up next is davar. I can never say this word. Devkarin. Devkarin Dissident. Boy, Devkarin Dissident is 1 and a green for a creature elf warrior. It's a 2/2. It's an upside bearer, but it doesn't stop there. It's a 4 and a green to give it +2/+2 until end of turn. So it's going to be a 4/4 sometimes. It's probably never going to be a 6/6 unless you've somehow gotten to 10 mana and not just ended the game. This is fine. It's an upside bear. It's pure filler. I'm totally fine picking up one of these. I'm totally fine playing one of these. I'm never ever going to first pick it though. Hopefully we'll get to a first pick at some point. Up next is Vicious Rumors. Vicious Rumors is a single black mana for a sorcery, and it does a lot of things. It deals 1 damage to each opponent. Each opponent discards a card, and then they mill the top card of their library, and then you get to gain a life, and none of that matters. This card is awful. This card is a hard F. Never, ever play this card. It is not worth it. None of those things matter. This card should be ripped in half right now. Never pick it. Up next is Selesnya Locket. Selesnya Locket is 3 generic mana for an artifact. You can tap it to add green or white to your mana pool, and you can pay green or white, green or white, green or white, green or white, and tap it and sack it to draw 2 cards. I don't know where I am on the Lockets right now, to be honest. The ramp, there's not a massive amount of ramp targets because most of the expensive stuff, I just kicked something really hard. The big amount of the expensive stuff has Convoke on it, so you're not ramping to it. You're getting creatures down instead to do it. The Boros Locket is awful. You never want to be playing a Locket in Boros, so I don't know where I am on these. It does feel really nice when the game has stalled out to refill your hand with a couple of cards. That feels nice, but I don't know where I am on the Lockets for playability. I at least know that I'm not on first pick. Hey, we got a first pick finally. Deadweight. Deadweight's a single black mana for an enchantment aura. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets -2/-2. This kills a massive amount of the Boros creatures. This kills some Boros 4-drops and 5-drops even. This murders Boros. And Boros is looking to be a potential scourge of the format. I still will say that I've definitely seen Boros decks just crumble because they didn't play out in the perfect curve. And of course, when they're in the perfect curve, they're nigh on unbeatable. But this is a great way to do it. I would first pick Deadweight in many packs, and currently it's the clear frontrunner in this pack. I believe our final common is Undercity Uprising. 2 black-green for a sorcery. Creatures you control get Death Touch until end of turn. Then target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. This is expensive. This is really expensive. It's Bone Splinters, except you're paying 4 for it. The rest of your team getting Death Touch at sorcery speed is pretty darn meaningless. It doesn't really matter. I'm actually pretty down on Undercity Uprising. I would rate this far lower than a Bone Splinters effect. I would have this far lower than Severed Strands, the actual Bone Splitters effect that we have in the set. I don't really care for Undercity Uprising. It's certainly not a first pick, certainly not against Deadweight. And boy, I don't think I start out playing this card, to be honest. There's better stuff out there. Into the first uncommons, we get Undercity Necrolisk. Undercity Necrolisk is 3 and a black for a creature, zombie, lizard, and uncommon. It's a 3/3, and you can pay 1 generic mana and sack another creature to put a counter on Undercity Necrolisk, and it gets menace until end of turn. However, only at sorcery speed. This thing seems fine. Being at sorcery speed obviously sucks. You can't save it from removal or save other creatures from removal or get some use out of them, rather. You can't do surprises here. There's no surprises here, unfortunately. But I think it's still a fine card. I don't think I'd ever want to first pick it, but I do definitely want to get some more reps with it because I do think that it is fine. Not Deadweight, though. Rampaging Monument is up next. Rampaging Monument is 4 generic mana for an artifact creature Cleric. Add-on common, it's got trample. It's a 0/0, but it does ETB with 3 +1/+1 counters. And then every single time you cast a multicolored card, you get to put a counter on this, which, by the way, I think this pack feels so weak because currently we have seen 1 multicolored card in the entire pack, which is a little bit weird. But yeah, this is a fine creature. It's certainly not going to compete with the Deadweight, though, but I think a few decks will be totally fine with this. Obviously, the more multicolored cards you have, the better you're going to feel about it. But even as a hill giant, it's okay, but never a first pick. Our second last uncommon, still not a multicolored card, is a Hellkite Whelp. Hellkite Whelp is 4 and a red for a creature dragon at uncommon. It's a 3/3 with flying. Whenever it attacks, it deals 1 damage to target creature defending player controls. It's fine. It's slightly expensive for most of the red decks, but it's fine. It's almost a better sideboard card when you're up against a bunch of 1/1s, preferably not the Boros ones because they may not be 1/1s by the time this comes out. Still, I'd probably relatively often play the first Hellkite Whelp. I just don't think I'm first picking it out of many packs, and certainly not against a Deadweight. So that just leaves our rare. And boy, our rare is actually good. And yeah, ultimately, we're walking away with a single multicolored card in this entire pack. That's feels kind of wild. Anyways, Venerated Loxodon is 4 and a white for a creature elephant cleric at rare. It's got Convoke, so you can make it a whole lot cheaper, and you want to because every creature that helped pay for this cost gets a +1/+1 counter. This is Ridgescale Tusker. You know, if you have 5 creatures on the board, this is a Ridgescale Tusker. The only way it's worse than a Ridgescale Tusker is if you have 6 or more creatures that you can't use to help pay this. This thing's nutty. This thing is super, super, super good. You do tap your team or most of your team to cast this to get all the counters, which means you can't be dead on the crackback. This 4/4 needs to hold things down for a turn. But as long as you are holding things down for a turn, this card is just fantastic. And I think I'm definitely first picking the Venerated Loxodon here against the Deadweight. We've got a Boros Guildgate as well, and a bird. So I think it's definitely between Venerated Loxodon and Deadweight, and I think Venerated Loxodon is just so much better that that's what I'm going to go for. But let me know what you would have taken in the comments down below. Would you have taken the Deadweight? Would you have taken the Loxodon? Is there something else you really liked in this pack? Personally, I think this pack was pretty darn weak. I hope I see packs that are better than this in the future of Guilds of Ravnica. But let me know what you have taken in the comments down below. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can find me on Twitter at TheManaLeek. That's L-E-E-K, like the vegetable, not the card. You can also find me at Facebook.com/TheManaLeek, Twitch.tv/TheManaLeek, and Patreon.com/TheManaLeek. If you like the content, click that thumbs up button. Click subscribe if you want to see more. And if you do have questions, comments, or suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you all next time.